Hi everyone. So today we are here with a new lecture on posterior column tracts. I have noticed that students struggle in the exams to demonstrate all the tests that we usually do for posterior column tracts. Just a brief discussion on posterior column. What are they? Posterior columns are one of the ascending tracts. They are sensory tracts, take information from the skin and joints up to the cerebral cortex. They have three order neurons because they originate from the dorsal column of the spinal cord attached to the peripheral roots, and then they ascend upward, they decussate and cross over at the medial lemniscus of the medulla and then go up to the cerebral cortex. Hence they are also called as the dorsal column medial lemniscal pathways. These are very important tracts because there are many diseases like tabes dorsalis originating from syphilis, subacute combined degeneration of the cord, Brown-Sequard syndrome, posterior spinal artery thrombosis. All these diseases can affect the posterior column tracts. And remember that posterior column tracts are supplied by the posterior spinal artery. Hence, this artery is very important as far as dorsal column or posterior column tracts are concerned. The main functions of posterior column tract is joint sensation, vibration sensation, fine touch, and position or proprioception. Now this joint sensation and position sense will come under proprioception only. We can also check the posterior column tracts in terms of 2-point discrimination and stereognosis. But today we'll see some of the tests that we usually do for checking the posterior column tracts, like proprioception, where we will check the position sense, joint sense, then vibration sense, and the Romberg's test. So Romberg's test is one of the most important tests to check for posterior column tracts. This comes under sensory system examination in the exam when the students are appearing. So let us first see what is position sense. So we have one of our junior doctors who is today helping you all to demonstrate position sense on him. So for position sense, we ask the patient to close the eye and position one of his hand, upper limb in a particular position. Like, please close your eyes and we'll position the hand in one position. आप ये position को याद कर लो and then we'll resolve it. Okay. Then we'll ask the patient to reposition hand in the same manner that we did, and again to in a parallel way make the other hand also in that position only. आपको याद है मैंने कैसे रखा था हाथ? हाँ. अब उसी पोजीशन में रखो. वेरी नाइस. अब दूसरे हाथ को भी वही पोजीशन में रखो. So see, he is able to mark where actually I put the hand earlier, and then I made his hand go down, and he simultaneously automatically brought the hand again in that same direction, and the opposite hand also in the same direction, in the same position. So in this way we can check the position sense. Otherwise in the lower limbs we can ask the patient to lie on the bed. सो जाइए. We can just make one of his lower limb flex at the knee and ask the patient to bring the opposite limb in the same position. दूसरे पैर को भी इसी पोजीशन में लाइए. So he is able to make both the limbs in the same position as we can see in a normal subject. उठ जाइए. Similarly, for position sense, we can ask the patient to outstretch his hand and to join his hand at the fingertips in the center. Similarly, we can ask the patient to touch one of his fingers with the other finger, touch his nose, and then we can keep changing the position of the finger so that randomly he keeps on touching the hand wherever the other hand is. So that also is a very good test to check for position sense. आपको दोनों हाथ को आउटस्ट्रेच करना है, उसको सेंटर पे मिलाना है. ओके. अब एक हाथ को ऐसे रखो और इस हाथ से अपने फिंगर टिप को टच करो और फिर अपने नाक को टच करो. फास्ट करो. So in the meantime you can change the position of the other hand so that randomly he keeps on touching. In this way you can check the position sense of proprioception. The other test that comes under proprioception is joint sense. So for joint sense we can again ask the patient to lie down, and we can check on the great toe regarding the position. For this we will have to first explain the patient what is the position. Don't touch the pulp of the great toe like this, because it will then lead to false positive or false negative results. You will always have to hold the great toe. If you can come closer, hold the great toe distally and proximally with from the sides laterally, try to avoid touching the other toes. Explain the patient on the distal phalanx or the distal joint what is up and down. So from laterally I will explain the patient that this is up, ये ऊपर है, and this is down, ये नीचे है. आप अपना आँख बंद कर लो, जहाँ पे भी आपको लगे अप और डाउन मुझे बताना. So we randomly give jerks and hold the position at a particular point and ask where it is. अब कहाँ है? He is saying up, so he is right. Similarly, randomly again up. अब कहाँ है? Up. अब कहाँ है? Down. So he is right. He can appreciate the normal joint sense whether it is up or down. So do not touch the toe like this. Okay, so this is false. The next is Romberg's test. Romberg's test is also very important in terms of posterior column tracts, where we ask the patient to stand still on the ground with his shoes or chappals removed, join both the soles together, look in the front with eyes open, make a balance, and then we'll ask the patient to close the eyes. Remember, in this position you should stand on the lateral side of the patient, so that if at all the patient falls down you can catch hold of him, but do not touch him. If the patient is very heavy, you may take assistance of some other person who will stand on other side. If the patient falls or sways with the eyes closed, it indicates that there is something wrong with the posterior column tract. If the patient sways or falls down with eyes open itself, it's a sign of cerebellar ataxia. Remember, cerebellar ataxia, the patient falls with eyes open because there is corrective proprioception from the posterior column tract. So primarily this test is being carried out to test the posterior column tract, where the patient will sway or fall down with the eyes closed. So we'll demonstrate. आगे देखिए, अपना बैलेंस बना लीजिए और अब आँख बंद कर दीजिए. So you check at least for 1 minute whether the patient falls or the patient is swaying. So he is a normal patient, obviously he will not sway. If at all the patient falls, you can catch hold of him. So you should outstretch your hands like this and give protection to the patient. So this is how Romberg's test is been done in a patient to check for posterior column tract disease. Can we have the tuning fork? Now, बैठ जाओ. The last sensation that we check for posterior column is tuning fork test. Usually we use a 128 Hz tuning fork because it decays later, so it is chosen above 512. What it does is that we should hit it, either you can hit the palm or the sole of your shoe and touch it on bony prominences of the patient, like the lateral malleolus, medial malleolus, the acromial joint, the clavicle, the sternum, and first explain the patient that this tuning fork is going to vibrate, and you can demonstrate by keeping it at the side of the ear so that he can appreciate that it is indeed vibrating. You can keep it on the scalp, vertex, etc., to make him realize that it is indeed vibrating. And once it stops, you should compare it with yourself, considering that we are normal. So to demonstrate, if I can put the vibrating tuning fork on the acromion and suppose the patient says that it has stopped, then I should also feel it that it is indeed stopped. If the patient is saying that the tuning fork has stopped vibrating, but I can feel the vibrations of the tuning fork, it means that there is something wrong with the posterior column of the patient. Similarly, we can also keep it on the vertebrae, the spinous processes on the back in the midline, to accurately localize the level of spinal cord lesion. There should always be, it should be remembered that the vibration sense will go first before the joint and position sense if the patient has a posterior column disease. So these are the some tests: the Romberg's test, the vibration test, position sense, and the joint sense, that will help you detect sensory tract lesions, primarily the posterior column tracts, in the exams. You can also do the 2-point discrimination or the stereognosis test, which are other functions of the posterior column. So I hope now, after seeing this video and after reading the books also, you can just merge these two things and get masterized on the demonstration of a posterior column tract in the exams. Thank you for a patient watching.